So we're going to explore again the role of criminal law in Australia, which reveals very interesting principle for me, which is the joint criminal enterprise, JCE short, a doctrine assigned for collective punishment and responsibility for individuals in any sort of crimes pursued for a common goal. So the legal concept really ensures that all participants are held to accountable regardless of their direct involvement in the criminal act. So for a deeper dive into these sort of complex issues, legal doctrines and the implications, make sure you subscribe to Lawishhh for comprehensive discussions into the nuances of legal systems. Let's get into it. So joint criminal enterprise, let's just say, that extends this sort of liability that may not have been physically perpetrated into the crime, but were instrumental to planning or facilitation, embodying the essence of this sort of collective criminal responsibility or collective criminal punishment. One would say this sort of doctrine has been shaped and redefined both by statutory law and judicial decisions, presenting a dynamic interpretation of what constitutes collective liability across all different states in Australia. So let's talk in Victoria. The application of a JCE in particular influences by the Crimes Act of 1958 in Victoria, which outlines the framework of holding individuals accountable for offences committed in the course of a common purpose. And similarly, both in the pivotal High Court case decision in Lawishhh, which is a UK case, has significantly impacted the Australian legal perspective on complexity, emphasising the necessity for the intention of commission of a crime, thereby refining the application for JCE across jurisdictions, including Victoria. In contrast, Queensland's a little different. Their approach to the JCE is encapsulated within the Criminal Code Act 1899, which specifically under Section 7 and 8, which detail the state's stance on parties to offences and the extension of criminal responsibility, those abating into committing into these crimes. So this whole legislative framework, it's mixing with judicial interpretations, ensuring sort of comprehensive understanding of complexity within the state. Okay, so Western Australia's perspective on JCE is governed by the Criminal Code Act compilation, which is 1913 from memory, where provisions related to common purpose and joint enterprise actions are laid out, further to illustrating the varied approaches in Australia, again across Australian states. So how does this concept of being held liable for a crime-based collective intention sit with you, especially when physical involvement might be minimal or even absent? We welcome your thoughts and questions in the comments section. This was another question and they actually wanted it in Queensland, so I thought I'd do a bit of snippet of everything. But this whole case, or the landmark case in the UK, Joji, and now Miller versus the Queen, the 16 HCA 30, with the High Court of Australia illustrating the judiciary's endeavour to clarify these thresholds intent and participation necessary for a conviction under this doctrine of JCE, which resonated through the legal frameworks of both Victoria, Queensland and Western Australia. The doctrine itself is sort of implications extended far, but it affected not those engaged directly in criminal acts, but those individuals that sort of planning or either support. So it's still quite low bar to be involved in these sort of organizations, but it sort of underscores the vital importance of recognizing one legal's obligation and the potential consequences of sort of these criminal associations. So this exploration into this whole JCE highlights the legal intricacies of criminal responsibility, emphasizing the need for heightened legal awareness. Yeah, so it's pretty insane doctrine. Like I said, the bar's not that high and can usually be done with absence of knowing as well. But in this depth analysis, this I hope it enhanced your understanding of legal landscapes across Australia. So hit the like, share for this video to promote sort of legal understandings, and subscribe to Lawishhh for more insightful. So your engagement, it allows us to sort of tackle these legal topics and just understand what you guys like, because I think it's very important to understand these issues, and especially very contentious issues with Australian law and legal precedents. And it might deter you, and I hope it deter you to join these sort of organizations and other things, because they're really catching on to this stuff, and it's just not worth it in the legal world. But thank you for joining us.